Well, if we have time, we'll talk about the scarcity a bit later. But let us start with the crisis going on right now. And the stories that are coming out. The fact that Nigerians and Africans are being maltreated, are being maligned in getting them to safety. As we've taken the reports all week that Nigeria has been a big brother in sending 2 key aircrafts, Air Peace and Max Air, to evacuate at least 5,000 Africans. But there are lessons to be learned in all of this. And some of the videos have been going around about how Africans hate each other, how we still have the colonial mentality of the white superiority. And that has affected how we've developed our own continent. It's painful, especially the videos that are coming out. There's a young girl video that, you know, this has 16-year-olds, 17-year-old kids in Ukraine, students, and they have to go through this ordeal. And you're thinking, why?
The video of that girl is a little girl. That girl is she's about to become a doctor. Why is she in Ukraine to study?
Nigeria.
Because our school system is terrible.
Pushed her there.
When the house where she's supposed to study is not comfortable, when you finish studying, you might not even get a job.
Absolutely.
So the system here drove her to Ukraine, which is already, we know Ukraine there's been threats to Ukraine for years from Russia. So anybody going there knows they are going into crisis. But people just felt there was no better option. So what we have done in Nigeria, and the annoying part is that a lot of our leaders are not here. And they're not saying, like, the body language is not, like, they don't feel what we're feeling. They don't see what we're seeing. Their children are abroad. We've gotten to the point where, and I've said it several times, our government officials are comfortable flaunting pictures of graduating students abroad. And they think it is okay to rub it in the face of the population that you have left with nothing, with people on strike.
I will go back to the beginning, and I will go back to when we got our independence and the first school. The first school was the beginning of the end of Nigeria as we know it. Why do I say that? Because successively, Nigeria has gotten worse and worse. Because there was a time, the first time I ever went abroad on my own, I went to the embassy. I just walked in. It was just one room. I was there. I just walked in. I didn't have to queue. There was no queue. Sit down. You want to go abroad? Before I even ever traveled, Nigerians could just walk onto the plane, go, and they will be allowed in. And we have successively, through constant military regime, become
ineffective leadership.
Ineffective leadership. Thank you very much. So, what is happening? Because there was a time we didn't want to go abroad. We would go on holiday, come back to our land. Now, everybody, I said it the other day, I say, go and put plane on Murtala Airport. Let's tell them that,
Ukraine is looking for...
Ukraine, the plane will be full. We have to go and look for another plane again. But every Nigerian will go there and say, Mufe, find way me. When I get there, don't worry about the war. I will find my way.
You didn't finish saying
why?
The next day.
And what happened? They are all going to enlist.
Exactly, or just like you said.
Just as you said it.
Because they don't see hope here. Now, the hope comes from our leaders. I don't want to abuse leaders, and I'm not blaming Buhari.
Well, okay,
let me finish. This is from the beginning. Without the leaders without vision, leaders without pride, leaders who do not know who and what they are as African people. When you carry yourself as an African, when you are talking to an Oyinbo, you are talking eyeball to eyeball. Let me use Nigerian balance. Eyeball to eyeball. Me and you, we are the same.
You see this mentality of I cannot come and die. I cannot come and suffer anything for this land. And the way Nigerians don't bless the land. When in Nigeria, an average Nigerian just finally get a visa like this, they go throwing parties as if anywhere but here is why we're here. It's not the first time we're going to rescue our people. We did Libya. We went in droves to get our people sold like slaves, organ harvested, all of the ills, the unimaginable things happening to our people because they're trying to go for better life. And it did not spur our leaders. It did not spur the elites. It did not spur the middle class to say, no, this has to stop. Let's restore the dignity of our people. No, that didn't push anybody to feel the pain that if it is not Nigerian and it is not good, I will not support it and I will do my very best to give this country the best. Because whenever we want to make those decisions, we'll go and sit with the country who whose interest is not our own, and be asking them if it is a good interest. When our economists want to advise us, they will go to their abroad universities. When they come back, they would have studied what worked there that will not work for us and come and give us that. That is the international. Who creates international standards? Who creates this international standard as somebody else's standard and make it our own here? Every single thing Nigerian is not tasteful.
Somebody must say, I want this system to work. If nobody says, I want this system to work, the system will not work. We already have a deformed system. So somebody needs to sit up and say, I want, this is TVC, we've had change of leadership here. And we've seen the experience of having change of leadership.
Tokwe, let me explain. Wait, I need to explain to Tokwe.
I know, I need to explain to you. Until you stop saying it is Nima's fault and Tokwe's fault and my fault, and you point where the fault is, you will not know peace. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Because you just be shouting like, let me tell you, if I become an armed robber, I was born, my parents raised me, and they didn't train me well, and I become an armed robber. Who will you blame? Me, that became an armed robber at 14, or my parents that did not raise me well? So please, when you sit down here and say, it's the parents' fault. Wait, you will sit down here, it's the parents' fault, it's the parents' fault. When the child is doing ritual, the child is, who is the parent? The parent is the leader of the child.
It's government. The parent is government.
Now, who is our own parents?
Let me tell you.
The successive government.
Let me tell you why I disagree with you. You made your point, YK.
No, I haven't finished. Okay. I haven't finished. I said my own father's prayer group, when they left England, they didn't stay there. They came home because there was something to come home to. We have eroded everything that they came home to by our leaders.
Is it the government? I'm not, listen, I am not here to defend the government, but I also want Nigerians to always look within. For example, recently we saw the government try to put train tracks on the roads. We, the people, started removing the metals and doing what? Selling it. So the government can do something. If a visionary leader, for example, becomes governor, Mustafa Shola came in, tried to make changes. Once he left, things began to deteriorate. Why? Because the people forgot to, they choose not to uphold it. So it's one thing hanging there. It's one thing for a leader to choose to do rail train tracks. It's one thing for a leader to choose to do roads. It's another thing for Nigeria to ply the roads and then pour water on it, or for throw refuse in the gutters. Listen, they have their fault, but the moment we start pointing those four fingers at ourselves, the many fingers, we then begin to solve this problem.